Hi everybody, it's Geordie from Geordie's Cards here for Isabel Cristina Designs today, and I'm so excited to be bringing you this rather elegant card. It's very unlike me, isn't it? Featuring this beautiful Blossom digistamp from Isabel Cristina Designs. I will leave the link to Isabel's Etsy shop in the description box below, but you can see here I have cut this image. This is the easy print page, and this is how it comes out when it prints, obviously without that piece that I've cut out there, but it's got all these beautiful blossoms. It's got some lovely sentiments, and you can see there's two that are the same here. I've just cut one of them and coloured it very delicately with my Copic Markers, so it's very soft colours that I've used today. Then I've taken this Dove Grey cardstock from Concord and 9th, and I've used the Concord and 9th Stitch Divines card front die to add some beautiful stitching detail to that to use as a background for my card. Now I have cut this to 3 3/4 by 5 inches. I then have a piece of Concord and 9th Sea Glass cardstock, which is this lovely soft pale green colour, and I've cut this one down to 5 1/4 by 4 inches. So I have a nice little kind of 1/4 inch border all the way around the edge. Here I have the MFT Sweet Hello die, which is this lovely die that creates the word, the hello word, and then it's got the kind of shadow that goes behind it. So I've cut the word from that same sea glass cardstock, and I've cut the shadow from some Fawn Vellum. So now I'm going to go ahead and start attaching everything together. So for my Dove Grey cardstock, I'm just using some liquid glue on the back, and I'm going to attach it down onto that sea glass panel and leaving that lovely little border all the way around. Now, I decided to do everything rather flat today. There is no foam tape. I did consider putting some foam squares behind my blossoms, but I want to post this card, so I wanted to keep it nice and flat. I think it would look lovely with a bit of dimension if you wanted to add some foam tape to it, but for reasons of postage, I decided to keep it flat today. So you can see I'm doing this all in real time today because it's a very simple card. The thing that took the longest was the colouring, and as it's only one image, that didn't take very long at all. So it is a really simple, quick and easy card to put together. Once you've cut everything and die cut everything, it's just kind of layering everything up. Be great to do production line style if you wanted to make a bunch of these. You could even make a lovely little note card set to give to somebody as a present. I think that would be really, really sweet. So this is kind of the layout that I'm going for with my card. So next up, I'm going to go ahead and attach my sentiment down onto that kind of shadow piece with my liquid glue. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky because this sentiment is rather delicate, and I'm rather clumsy, and Vellum is not forgiving when it comes to liquid glue. So I'm trying to be careful, but as always, I'm not. But thankfully, I think that it turned out rather nicely in the end. I didn't actually manage to get glue everywhere like I normally do. I did manage to keep it fairly clean and tidy, so well done me. But yeah, I'm normally a little bit clumsy, so just need to be a little bit careful with liquid glue and vellum because it will leave a lovely splodge and it will be quite noticeable if you're not careful. So I'm just using my finger to kind of dip off any glue that was kind of glooping out anywhere, and I'm going to carefully attach this down all into place. So once I've done that and I've got everything smooshed down nicely, I'm going to pop an acrylic block on top of this just to hold it down into place and make sure that glue is attached nicely. So I'm giving it a good kind of press down. I don't want my letters to wriggle around because then the glue will smear over the vellum and make a bit of a mess. So I'm just going to pop it to the side there, bring out my acrylic block and pop it on top while I work on my blossoms. So for the blossoms, I had considered putting some foam squares behind them and popping them up, and I do think that would look really lovely, but I decided to keep it flat because I am posting this today. So I didn't want to add any dimension onto it, but I do think the foam would really give it a lovely lift and make it look really pretty. So just attaching glue all over, quite kind of quite unsparingly is the word I'm looking for. I don't know if that's a word. It's a word now. I've just made it up. But yeah, popping it down quite generously so it's going to stick nicely onto my card front there. And I'm going to pop it so it's kind of hanging in from that left-hand top corner there. So it kind of looks like it's a branch then, and you're just kind of seeing the end of it. So once I'm happy with that, it's all squished down nicely and all firmly attached with that glue, I will bring my sentiment back out again and pop it down towards the bottom of my card. Now this is where you have to be a little bit more careful with your vellum, because you really don't want to get glue all over it. So when I'm attaching this down, I'm going to be quite careful and try and just use the glue and pop it on the back here where those letters are. So thankfully I have this great little fine tipped bottle, which is perfect for delicate little areas like this. Highly recommend this glue if you haven't tried it already. And you can get different kind of nozzles that go onto the bottle, but I've got this really lovely little kind of metal one which is very fine and works brilliantly for this kind of thing. As you all know, I'm not particularly careful, I'm quite clumsy, so something like this really helps me out a lot. So once I have the glue where I need it, I'm just going to go ahead and attach that down at the bottom of my card and try and center it up nicely. And that is pretty much my card panel completed. All that's left to do is to attach it to a card base. So I have chosen just a plain white card base today. I did think about bringing in another colour, but I decided that I wanted to keep it relatively clean and simple. These blossoms are the star of the show, and they're the things that kind of really do the talking on this card. And you don't need to add a great deal to make this look really pretty. So I just have my plain white card base. It's 5.5 by 4.25. So I have another little kind of border all the way around the edge of my card panel where that white card shows through from the back. And I'm just using liquid glue again, but again, foam tape would look great to pop it up and give it a bit of dimension. But for the sake of postage, I'm keeping it flat today. So I'm going to try and center this up nicely, make sure my card is around the right way before I do anything else, and attach this down. And that is it. My card is complete. This would be a great one to do production style if you wanted to make several of them. I think it would look beautiful as a little gift if you made like 3 of them or 5 of them and gave them as a little gift, kind of a set of note cards for somebody to use. I think it would be absolutely lovely. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Please do go and check out Isabel Cristina's Etsy shop. It is absolutely full of gorgeousness, and I will leave the link in the description below. Please give this one a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And please do subscribe to my channel. I'd love to see you come back. Thanks for joining me.